The Charge Blade in Monster Hunter is one of the funnest but most technical weapons in the game. Not only is it a 2-in-1 weapon, but it also has 2 resource systems that you constantly need to be aware of. But that doesn't stop people from playing it and literally sawing through their enemies in a grand fashion, nor does it turn away curious hunters like you keen on learning how to perform these fun flashy feats themselves. In this video, we're going to be doing a quick and clean beginner's guide of the Charge Blade for both controller and keyboard players, focusing on teaching you the bare essentials to get you out and hunting quickly, but still teaching you enough to know what you're actually doing. We'll be going over the core mechanics of the Charge Blade, the ideal flow of your gameplay, showing you some simple combos that'll give you the most bang for your buck, and giving you some tips that I've learned from my some 500 hours of playing this weapon. By the end of this video, you'll be more than confident enough to pick up the Charge Blade and will be throwing together your own combos to fit your playstyle in no time. Just remember, like with any other weapon, practice makes perfect and mistakes will always happen. Now without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing that I will quickly mention is that I'll be showing the buttons for each move and combo on screen for all control schemes as we cover them. For simplicity's sake, I'll be saying the PlayStation controls, but if that's not your control scheme, you'll find yours off to the side of the screen. A plus sign between buttons means to push them at the same time, while arrows between buttons means that that's the next button sequence to push. The Charge Blade has 2 different forms, a sword and shield mode and an axe mode. Sword mode is very mobile, has fast attacks, and is very defensive thanks to the large shield you're carrying. You can of course guard with your shield by pushing R2 to reduce the damage taken at the cost of your stamina. If you guard just before an attack hits, you'll execute a perfect guard, negating all damage, knockback, and stamina costs. Perfect guards are an important concept to remember for Charge Blade. In addition to sword mode, you have axe mode. Axe mode is much less mobile and has slower attacks than sword mode, but makes up for it by hitting like a truck. Axe mode can be powered up into power axe mode, increasing its damage and letting the axe briefly stick to and saw through the monster, dealing massive amounts of damage. The only catch with Charge Blade is that during the entire process of fighting with this weapon, you'll have to manage your vials as well, which is easy to do once you understand how it works. Vials are obtained in sword mode and are used in axe mode to deal additional damage, either in the form of empowering basic attacks or as extra bursts of damage during your huge power attack, the Super Amped Elemental Discharge, or SAED for short. Now that we have a basic understanding of what the Charge Blade is, let's go into the basic flow during combat as well as the key moves you should know. In a nutshell, you first want to charge your vials in sword mode, then use those vials in axe mode for big damage. In the upper left, you can see your vials, which shows you their amount and their charge state. Every sword attack as well as blocking attacks will generate energy. This is indicated by the vial icons glowing either yellow or red. This is as simple as attacking things with your basic sword combo of pushing triangle 3 times. It's nothing fancy but is extremely flexible, and I highly suggest exploring what you can do with it in the training grounds once you're more comfortable with the weapon. Once you attack enough, your vials will start to glow. You can store this energy into your vials by pushing R2 and circle at the same time. Yellow charge will fill 3 vials, while red charge will fill 5 vials. We'll refer to this process of building sword energy and storing it as vials as charging vials from now on. The fastest way to charge vials is with the following combo. Hold circle until the animation completes, indicated by an audio cue, then release to perform a charged double slash. Push triangle and circle at the same time to do a shield bash, which allows you to immediately push and hold circle again to charge up your next double slash. Once the second double slash is done, your vials will be at red charge. Just be careful to not let go of the charge slash too early or too late, as it will perform a weak slash if you do. Some important things to note here is that if you attack too much with your sword without storing the energy as vials, your sword will actually overload, start glowing, and start to bounce on every hit. Keep an eye on your sword energy and charge your vials whenever it turns red to prevent this, even if your vials are already full. When you charge your vials when you're already full, this will actually overload your vials, indicated by a little exploding effect on their icons. This simply does more damage whenever a vial is used in an axe attack. Charging vials past an overcharge will simply do nothing. Now once we have some vials created, the next step is to start charging portions of your weapon. There are 3 parts that you can charge, seen as the 3 icons near your vials. The main part is to charge your shield, which can be done in one of 3 ways. Firstly, hold circle after charging your vials. Secondly, you can perform a shield bash follow-up, then push R2, triangle, and circle at the same time. You can perform a shield bash after most sword moves by pushing triangle and circle together. So the entire combo would be triangle, triangle and circle, R2, triangle, and circle. Thirdly, you can guard while performing the wind-up of your big axe slam move, the Amped Element Discharge. The simplest way to do this is from sword stance, push triangle and circle 3 times, then R2 during the animation. Or from axe stance, simply push triangle and circle once, then R2 during the animation. Obviously, the first option is the easiest to perform, so just focus on that and branch out as you get more comfortable. Charging your shield empowers your axe with extra damage on hit depending on your weapon's vial type. Impact vials add stun and exhaust effects as well as an extra damaging explosion attack on your normal attacks. Element vials just boost the weapon's elemental damage. Charging your shield will use all stored vials. The more vials used, the longer your shield will be charged. 120 seconds for 5 vials or 200 seconds for 5 overcharged vials. Now that your shield is charged, switch to axe mode and start doing attacks to use your vials for more damage. You can easily switch to axe mode by holding R2 then pushing triangle. Alternatively, you can draw your weapon into axe mode by drawing it with R2. The main axe damage combo is a stationary wide swing combo that can be repeated infinitely. Simply push circle twice, triangle once, and repeat. Alternatively, you can opt for a more damaging but longer animation combo by pushing circle 4 times. And we can't forget about the high-reaching triangle attacks that allow us to easily hit a monster's head or tail. Finally, we have the flashiest move Chargeblade has to offer, the Super Amped Elemental Discharge. The SAED consumes all vials to deal tons of damage to the monster via a dramatic wind-up overhead attack. Each consumed vial will cause an aftershock explosion dealing additional damage. SAED is a powerful move that can only be used while your shield is charged. The easiest way to perform an SAED is by pressing triangle and circle after blocking an attack. Alternatively, you can perform it quickly from sword stance by pushing triangle and circle 4 times. Or from axe stance by pushing triangle and circle 2 times. We take this damage further by charging Power Axe mode, which enables us to hold the attack button to saw through enemies for tons of extra damage. Power Axe mode also reduces the amount of vials used for all axe attacks while active. This allows you to do that stationary repeatable combo without consuming any vials, or do the slightly but longer more powerful combo only using 1 vial. You can charge Power Axe mode by using a focus strike on a wound, executing a mounted finisher attack, or by perfect guarding and immediately following up by pushing triangle. The last part of your weapon you can charge is your sword. You can only charge your sword when your shield is charged, and do so by pushing R2 and circle, then holding triangle until the animation completes, indicated by an audio cue as well as the sword clicking into the shield. This animation is slower if you do not have any vials ready to charge. Charging your sword does not use any vials for charging or attacking. It simply is a free power-up that increases sword damage, gives your sword vial buffs, and prevents your sword from bouncing at all. Some people charge their sword and some people don't. It's arguably very optional to do. Personally though, I do it even when I'm mostly using axe mode, as the small trade-off of a 2-second charge time is pretty worth the increased sword damage in my opinion. Charging vials, then charging your weapon, then using vials, and repeating the process is basically the entire flow of playing Chargeblade. But wait, don't run off just yet. There's a few more things that you should know in terms of useful movesets before you go and try and bully a poor Chatacabra. I won't keep you for much longer, it's just a few mobility moves that you should know about and slowly start weaving into your combos. After all my time of playing Chargeblade, I can't help but say it's a surprisingly fluid and mobile class despite having a tree trunk on your back, and that's all thanks to just 3 mobility moves. In sword mode, you have the forward/lunge strike, which is performed at the start of a combo by pushing triangle and circle. It's great for closing short gaps quickly so you can get back in range of sword strikes. On top of this, we have the fade/sliding attack, which can be performed after most attacks by giving a directional input while pushing circle. This move slides you a good amount of distance in any direction and ends in a wide slash. It's a great mid-combo repositioning tool for when the monster runs out of range, when you need to dodge an attack, or when you need to create some space. Axe mode also has a decent mobility move, the dash slam forward step slash. This is performed by moving forward while pushing triangle at the start of a combo. You'll lunge forward a good distance and attack with an overhead axe slam, capitalizing on your weapon's long reach. It's a great tool for chasing down monsters while in axe stance so you can get back into their face and continue your beatdown. Now before we wrap this video up, let me recap on a few key combos for Chargeblade, note a few variations you can do for them, as well as leave you all with my own personal tips for playing the weapon. Never forget your go-to vial charging combo. Hold circle and release at the right time, then circle and triangle, then hold circle and release once more. This fully charges your vials in a few seconds, which allows you to stay in axe mode more often to dish out damage. You can also slightly adjust this combo by replacing the shield bash with the previously mentioned fade slash to reposition yourself for various needs, or by replacing the shield bash with a powerful but slower round slash instead for more damage by just pushing triangle. Quickly switch into axe form after charging your vials by first charging vials with R2 and circle, then pushing circle once again to switch and attack with your axe. This attack actually leads into the first attack of our repeatable axe combo, so pushing circle once more, then triangle once more will finish the loop. From there, we can continue to spam the pattern of circle, circle, triangle. Alternatively, we can push circle 4 times to perform a slightly longer but more damaging axe combo, with the option of doing an SAED at the end of the 4th attack by pushing circle and triangle. Just make sure your shield is charged in order to do the SAED. And if you just want to spam SAED because it looks cool, the fastest way to pull one off is by pushing triangle and circle right after a guard. Alternatively, you can SAED from sword mode by pushing triangle and circle 4 times, or from axe mode by pushing triangle and circle 2 times. And as a thanks for sticking through the entire video, I'll leave you all with some of my best tips for playing Charge Blade. Wilds gives us new Focus Strike moves, and Charge Blade's Focus Strike not only does great damage, but doubles as a great gap closer since the move is just a far forward lunge. Use the Focus Strike alongside Charge Blade's other mobility moves to stick to your enemies or dodge incoming blows. Fully overcharge your vials before you enter Power Axe mode to make the most out of your extra damage. Since Power Axe mode doesn't consume vials for most attacks, you can enjoy that overcharged damage boost for the entire duration of Power Axe. Some Charge Blade move animations have periods of time where your shield is held up in front of your character. During these times, you will actually automatically guard any frontal attacks. These are referred to as guard points. I only mention this to shed some light on the matter for when you eventually block with a guard point and start wondering what the heck just happened. This is more of an advanced concept that makes you truly unstoppable once mastered. As far as skills go for Charge Blade, key skills you want in no particular order are Artillery, Load Shells, Guard, Guard Up, Offensive Guard, and Focus. If you're running an Element Vial Charge Blade, you'll also want Elemental Attack of that same element. If you guys found the video helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any Charge Blade questions, and if there's any veterans here for some reason, let me know if I missed something important that beginners should know, or throw your own tips in the comments to help out a fellow hunter. Good luck and happy hunting!